right? Because if it's Weaver support and goes the Aghanim Scepter, you need to be able to hunt down the Weaver.
Sure.
And either one as core, Storm Spirit's really good at being able to, because there's highly mobile heroes that are super affected by silence. So a fast Orkin on Storm Spirit is pretty effective here.
But you do have Lion and Ember on the other side, which have a fairly reliable stun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think part of the advantage for SMG here is they're going to be relying on their Spirit Breaker to start fights and create some sort of play that will allow the Storm Spirit to have a follow-up. It's a lot harder to play Storm Spirit when they have good disables like that if you're the one starting fights, right?
I do like Boom Esports' ability to rotate much more than SMG's though, because whilst they have Spirit Breaker, if it's a core, he doesn't want to be like charging in on the 4-minute, 6-minute runs. I mean, he can. The option's there, which is nice. But like, if Boom could rotate Weaver in at 4 minutes, and we've seen Weavers like run down spirits in mid before and just kill them a bunch of times.
Yeah.
We've seen like Lion plus Ember is going to be great kill potential on Storm Spirit at any point in the game. SMG are relying on Storm Spirit to have level 6 so they can do the Inkswell combo with Grimstroke into Zip-In. So I don't know. I don't like Gyro's ability to rotate that much. Can Ember can dodge the rocket with the slight, right? If he slights into it, or
yeah, slight into it.
Yeah, so like that's unreliable as well.
It is hard though, because it has to go max speed for it to actually reliably do that, because otherwise it's a bit too slow, and you can slide into it and it won't. Right?
I see. Oh.
It's not the easiest thing, but it is not. I mean, Remnant as well.
Yeah.
Running through it.
Ew, it makes me feel bad. I like Booms like right now. I just think it's easier for them to come mid and do stuff with their Ember Spirit.
10 seconds remaining.
All right, so what's left? They've got, for hard carries, Luna, TB. You can go Morphling because you're against Gyrocopter.
Yep.
But if you do that, maybe it's a support Gyrocopter and he doesn't go Flat Cannon.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
He gets you.
Yeah, he goes 440 plus stats.
Honestly, it's better if you're support. Why do you need Flat Cannon?
You can get a little bit of gold so you're not poor.
Oh. Stay in poverty. You're a 5.
No, never.
Stop trying to raise your class.
I like I like Wraith King as well.
Okay, anti-burst hero against a lot of burst from SMG. Yeah. It doesn't feel too bad.
Yay! That's.
I mean, she brings burst, which should be enough to kill anyone with a hex, right? So that's pretty solid. She's kind of mobile.
You have so much minus armor on Boom as well.
Yeah. Weaver, Pango, PA now. Ember with corrosion as well, assuming.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay, so offlane heroes that use Grimstroke pretty well.
Spirit Breaker in it.
I really would just like a carry hero.
Yeah, could be Spirit Breaker 5.
I'd like to see a carry that can just like turn up to PA.
What's a carry that can turn up to PA?
TA, TB, maybe.
TB against.
I don't think you want to play TB into Boom's lineup. That looks miserable.
No.
It's also Pango Weaver lane, so like the whole like lane matchup is gonna be them trying to go on you constantly. I think, especially if you have Gyrofly, it's kind of a weak-ish support. Yeah.
It's a rough one, honestly. I think that's good core to core against PA. Can survive this lane.
There are too many mobile heroes for you to do Razor.
Has to be a mid 1 hero as well, so it has to be able to farm.
Medusa doesn't like Pango, but the rest are fine.
And I kind of like Faceless into their lineup, but like I just don't know about how that hero is as a carry anymore, because it feels like no one's picking him anymore. It's like he had a weird resurgence where people were trying to play him again, and then they were like, yeah, you know what, we hate this, and they just stopped.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it if they had like a little bit more magic burst.
Yeah.
But they're gonna go for it anyway.
My
What a
boy!
guess.
Holy what?
Well done.
that was such a hopium guess. I was like, there's no way in hell they picked this.
Sorry, Sheepo. You perfectly crunched the numbers, and you found out that the only viable option was Faceless Void.
You're right, you're right.
Yes, we actually, you don't see her because she was off camera, but she took out her calculator. It was impressive. There's a whole text instruments here.
Yeah. I had like 18 Doa buffs like open on my...
Yeah, it was scary. Very impressive, Sheepo. Can you tell me what the strength of the Faceless Void is against this lineup?
Well, the time dilation is very effective against all of these heroes that like to spam a lot of spells. Not to mention the lockdown of Chronosphere, very solid, gives you the ability to kill everyone. They don't have any save outside of Weaver, so as long as we get that charge in on Spirit Breaker, pick him off with Storm Spirit and Zip, should be easy peasy.
I don't like it.
Shut up, Cap.
Because I didn't predict it.
That's fair.
The biggest reason. But I can give other reasons why I don't like it. They've got a lot of lockdown between Lion, Ember, and Pango, and they've got the burst damage of PA behind it. So I think that team fights are, like, I think Boom's going to play pretty fast here. They've shown a propensity to be able to do so, and I think they're going to kind of run over SMG.
Why he's a good caster. First, you create your conclusion, and then you bring up the supporting arguments for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
True way to reason. So we have two wonderful casters as well, and my conclusion is that they're great, and they're going to bring you the best enjoyment for this incredible match. And their names are MLP Dota and John X Fire.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abo Plus. It is indeed MLP Dota and John X Fire. John, welcome back, sir. After 6.5 hours of waiting, we finally got a game on our hands. But how are you doing?
Doing great, Mike. I'm just glad to see some Dota tonight. There was a bit of a scare that we wouldn't see action, but we've got.
We haven't started the game yet. Calm down. Let's not jinx anything yet. Go on.
Fair enough, but we've got something lined up. Boom versus SMG. This should be a good one. This should probably be one of the determining matches to see who goes to the majors. So SMG, they've had a good start. They maybe tumbled here and there. Boom has been on an outstanding start coming in from even outside the DPC. So we've got to see if they can maintain that momentum. The players on Boom have been a bit playful as well, Mike. We were having a bit of chatter a while ago in our earlier games about them, asking Gary for stuff with their voice lines out. I'm sure the guys are doing well as well. So, they should be able to take care of their own battle passes. I have to say, Tims, stop asking, please. I love you, but I can't help you with that. You've got your own money. You're a big boy. Buy your own levels, Steve.
I hope Tim shows up to that dinner you're going to at JAPOY, just so he can just punch you in the face, bully you a bit, Shake that money out of you. That's what I reckon. Tim's, just hit up JAPOY, get over there. Get over to Davao City, as John would tell me. I believe it is Davao. Am I not wrong, John?
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, hold that thought, Jonathan. We might have first blood, as our food is about to get caught out. Dagger is there. Tims, he'll move over. But Mid One and Raging Potato are going to be around to try and help out those Skim. Knight's Earth Spike is there. Raging, he's dropping rather low now, but they can't quite finish the job. In fact, now they'll turn back in onto FBZ, and it looks like first blood might turn right back around towards the side of SMG as Moon is able to pick it up on the Storm.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth there. Boom, they tend to love doing this, right? Going in for that early first blood, playing with their level 1 stuns. SMG has pretty good level 1 as well. I think you're going to be seeing this down the line where there is a double set of bashes on SMG. So by chance, alt skill, SMG might be able to line their shots up a bit better in these trades. But Boom, going to be licking their wounds a bit. They do manage to get their wards planted, very defensive wards here, watching the bot Riverside, as they will break into the lanes as well. We are seeing Skem just playing around on the line. Pause 5 is going to be helping out Tino, of course, on that PA. They'll be laning up against Afu on the Grimstroke. And already Afu's just getting twacked for dropping that sentry down. He does manage to take the vision out, but he will kind of cop it. Down to just one Tango there, Mike, and one salve. So he's going to have to be very cautious in how he trades. Raging Potato is his main core in that lane, of course. So you've got the charge combination with the Ink Swell. You've got the bashes coming through. It can be really aggressive. I think even by level 2, you can look to really just jump in and hold Tino back. A lot of pressure on Skem to cut off that movement, Mike. He's got to line up the Earth Spikes. He's got to line up the Hexes and ensure the PA is not going to die in this lane at all.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you've always got the Blink Strike available on top of the Earth Spike that can kind of de-initiate there from Skem, but we'll see how Raging and Afu try to make it work. Of course, over to the mid lane, you do have your Page and Moon against each other on the classic Ember Storm Spirit matchup. It does feel like it might favor Moon a little bit in the earlier levels, but eventually your Page, he should be able to catch up. John, talk to me about it. Do you favor one or the other here?
Yeah, I think the level 3 Spike of Moon is a lot stronger. He can rip right through the Flame Guard just a bit faster with your Static Remnant, Overload, and Electric Vortex combinations we've seen time and time again. For Yopaj, it's harder to juggle that lane as a melee hero. Moon has a little bit more control as a ranged hero and getting some harassment off as well. But I think the interesting timing is actually by level 5 or 6. It's like that when that movement is up, it can be a bit different for both sides.
Inkswell's going to connect there onto Skem. He'll try to Fairy Fire through it. No bashes coming up for Raging, so a bit unlucky there on the Spirit Breaker. Stroke of Fate actually does end up connecting onto Skem. It won't matter too much though, he does end up surviving. I suppose while we do have a quick chance, we should have a look at that top lane where you will see Roger and mid one against FBZ and Tims. We've seen this matchup before, John. FBZ very, very popular for his Pango play. Do you think mid one has a bit of a rough time here in this laning stage, or should it be just fine?
You can kind of juggle in and out. There's the factor of time dilation, as Sheepo said as well. None of these heroes enjoy playing against it. But the issue is you can't really be too aggressive with Roger as well. Like, you see him just get run down. The damage output of FBZ is pretty high. He will have to watch the missile like that, though.
A lot of damage coming out. He will mango and swashbuckle away. Now Tims is going to be in trouble. No Sakuchi available, so mid one is able to pick up a nice kill for himself. First of the game for the Faces Void. And so far, so good for SMG. 0-2 their way, and it does feel like every lane's just going fine for him.
Yeah, they've got the start they want. I think they're starting to get some of the farm they want as well. Mid one's farming is a bit slower, so the kill helps accelerate that. But FBZ is still doing a great job of kind of keeping that Faces Void in check. And as soon as he hits that level 3 to level 2 shield crash, he can kind of trade a little bit better. Roger just looking to maybe snipe out Courier. It's not going to find him. We'll go for the deny though, so a little bit of a pickup there for Tims, I guess.
Yeah. He tried to deny himself off, but Tims in the end just ends up Sakuchiing past and getting him. So nice little pickup for the Weaver. The first on the board for Boom Esports. Meantime though, I mean, bot and top lane have been getting rather aggressive. In fact, top lane right now, mid one already so darn low. Scary times for the Void, though I suppose he does always have the time walk to try and get away. Going back to FBZ though on this Pango, John, the man is known to be very, very dangerous on this hero. We've seen so many times he just wins out team fights just by having that Rolling Thunder and Blinker. We'll see if he can do it this game, but he has been quite consistent in the past.
Yeah, just always on the aggressive once it's available. I think there's a lot of pressure on FBZ to get some initial control out. Like, he's likely to hit his 6 timing and then hit maybe an initial blink timing a bit faster than Skem would. So it's going to be down to him to get his mobility forward and get the chain control off the team once that's up. We are seeing a bit of a tag there with Yopaj and Moon, although.
That was a 6 steal from Moon. He slid a fist and got the water rune. I didn't think he'd be able to pull it off. In fact, now Moon's in trouble. He needs some help right now. Yopaj, he won't have the sleight of fist. Everything's just fine. They'll force the rotation in from Arfu. That'll be about it. Salve out for Moon. Should be able to continue just remaining within this mid lane. Thing is, though, Yopaj now has overtaken in terms of XP, so things could get rather scary if Yopaj does hit that level 6 mark first. And it does appear to be going that way, as Moon still pretty far behind, and we'll keep an eye on this mid lane, because that level 6 timing is going to be problematic for Moon. He's going to try and man-fight this one out with Yopaj. Yopaj still trying to go after him. Verifies there, Moon barely able to get away with his life intact. Again, he'll have to wait out his next opportunity, though. Bot lane, now they've got Skem out. They'll take down the Lion. Tino, he's going to try and at least trade with Raging. You've got to be a little bit worried about that 17% bash. In the end, he will just let the Spirit Breaker go.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. I like that SMG's emphasizing their side lanes. I do worry about how much Yopaj is getting up against Moon, though. Like, when it comes to power spikes in lane, sure, the Storm Spirit does good in level 1 to 3 and even up to level 5, but once you hit that initial level 6, that's the time you see these small items come in, Mike. You get Phase Boots, you get Orb of Corrosion, you get the fast Javelin on the Storm, on the Ember, and you do a lot of damage. For the Storm, it's not quite the same. You can maybe get your Quarterstaff up, build onto the Orchid, or maybe get a quick Kaya. It's not the same damage output as an Ember in that point in the game. So there's a really good early power spike here for Yopaj. He's at level 6, he can look to be aggressive if he wants to be.
Bot lane though, they've got Tino with the stun out. He has no blink target right now. He'll go for the blur, but the bash is out. Tino, he'll turn now as Raging ends up getting very low himself. And it seems though the rotation into him is going to be enough to back them off. The mid lane now, the jump is there from Moon and Yopaj, but they are trying to go onto Skem as well with Roger. Does get the Rocket Flare out, and that is going to be more than enough to get rid of Skem. So another kill onto the Lion. Roger will take it this time around. Looks like Roger, he'll even stick around the mid lane and just buy a little bit of space here for Moon to catch up.
Yeah, they need to kind of get a little bit more going for Moon. And that's one of the things for SMG in this game, where 2 of their courts are going to need some amount of farm to really be effective. Their Faces Void and the Storm are going to need to hit those initial farm timings, and that's still a ways off. So I think they're winning out their lanes as much as possible. That's very important for them to secure some momentum, some space, when there's going to be a bit of a dead period for the Void to farm, for the Storm to farm, to Orchid or Kaya, as you need be here for Moon. And that's something Boom will look to kind of play around. Maybe around the 10-minute mark, that's when that's going to start to shine. They are keeping good eye on Tino. Constant charges and stroke ink swells coming through can be a bit punching on this PA.
When they go again with the silence out, the Inkswell is guaranteed to land, and another nice bash on the tail end of that. They won't really be able to set up a kill, but it won't matter too much. It's kind of like you mentioned, John. They just want to make sure Tino doesn't feel comfortable in this bot lane. Mind you, he does have the Ring of Health, and Skem continues to buy salves for his carry. So Tino never really needs to leave. It's now towards the north. Tims is going to spot out Moon. Moon is level 6, so you do kind of require the chains to land, but Tims, he's just going to be a bit of a nuisance. Forces Moon back towards the fountain. Just a little efficiency plays here from the Weaver. And you start to look at that CS board, John, and although the kills are favoring SMG, in terms of creep score, Boom Esports are well and truly ahead.
Top lane.
They can jump in. They've got Skem again. Tino unable to help out. Is again just going to have to go back to farming. In the meantime, however, they are pushing that mid-tier 1 in. Moon's going to rotate back in onto Tims, but he'll Sakuchi away. JAPOY, he'll be just fine to Remnant out if he needs to, but it looks like he wants to try and play around with those power runes. Eventually does get the invis for himself. It does seem like Boom, they're waiting for their timing throughout the mid-game and just not trying to rush going into SMG for now. Very, very patient play here from Boom Esports.
I think they know there's going to be a dead period for SMG where their only big here that can really jump in is that Spirit Breaker, though.
He did not chrono or time walk away. He was waiting it out, but he did not see Tims there. And Skem, he just wrapped around the fog. Mid 1 ends up going down for the first time this game, and well, that's a big pick-off for the side of Boom Esports.
It will put a dent in mid 1's progression here. The Faceless Void can maybe farm a little bit faster than the PA early on, but once the PA hits that Battle Fury timing, PA just overtakes. Like, you do have the mobility advantage with your Time Walk in comparison to maybe Phantom Strike, unless there's some good ward vision for Boom. They do get a good scan off. They are still constantly applying pressure onto Tino, but he does have a ward to defend, so he's going to be able to back off here, Mike.
He runs right into him though. Tims, he is around to try and help. Stance is there, but he'll get rid of the stance. Still the Inkswell going to be more than enough to lock Tino down. He's almost gone, and the bash is out from Raging. But here comes JAPOY. What can we find for their trouble? Arthur will go down first. Raging, he's going to try and run and should be okay to do so. In the meantime, Skem drops across the map, but Raging, he is still being targeted here by JAPOY. Chains up in 1. He will land it as well. Mid-charge, he does catch out the breaker, but can they actually get the kill? With the earn out just ticking him down slowly, JAPOY will take the banner in away as well. Just taking absolutely everything from Raging Potato, and eventually does take his life to boot.
Yep, it's still a really punishing trade for Boom. Losing Tino is pretty big. Your PA is still trying to work into that big farm steroid in the Battle Fury, and every single death is going to slow that down, so you don't have a significant lead over mid 1. At the same time, you're not lagging too far behind that Faceless Void. So the farm parity maybe benefits Boom a little bit more. I think SMG, though, they're kind of struggling creating space. Like, every single time we're seeing Moon having to join in these fights, it's only really mid 1 that can stay back and farm. I think the Storm is just not getting enough kills to really build up. So stuck at Soul Ring and the Brown Boots working towards the Orchid. He will be able to get a couple of quarterstaffs, maybe at least one. But again, it's not the same steroid effect there, Mike, compared to our Ember. JAPOY, Phase Boots of Corrosion. This is what we know is strong for Ember. Right-click damage is maxed out, nearly maxed out with Sleight of Fist level 3. So whenever JAPOY shows up, it's a lot scarier compared to Moon showing up in the fight.
At least for now. Moon, he's still doing a nice job of just keeping up and actually overtaking in terms of net worth. But like you said, in terms of just heroes on itemization, JAPOY is kind of online right now, so they'll move up top. The smoke out on Skem and JAPOY. Obviously, they want to go back after mid 1. They will scan out Roger first. Roger, great positioning there from the gyrocopter to make sure to break the smoke as JAPOY now does use the tumblers. Let's move in. Homing missile. It'll be there to try and help out as mid 1. He will move in and show himself. He does still have that chrono, but he won't have the damage with the chrono alone. So he will leave JAPOY be and just accept the fact that Roger's tanked the gank. Moon, though, well, he shows up, but without the Orchid, he really can't do too much yet.
He's just gonna have to be a bit greedier, and this is where SMG's draft again goes back to it, where they don't really want to take these direct engagements. They do have a big team fight spell in the Chrono. They only really have the follow-up of a Gyrocopter in that area. Maybe you could argue the Storm spamming some overload charges there as well could be one way, but with a limited range, it is a bit harder. And for Boom, they can just run and gun. They've got the pick-off material in their lineup. They've got good control, as our panel has pointed out. And they're buying a lot of space for Tino now. Like, he was ganked a couple of times bot. He's managed to rotate top. He hasn't been hunted down bot in some time, and they're making moves again on Moon.
They're going to try. Can they get the chains out on him? Not quite. In fact, Soulbind now is going to be out from Marfu, and the charge is there for Rolling Thunder. FBZ, he blocks off Raging Potato, and now he's got a great angle to just keep him perma-stunned up. Poor old Raging just can't move. Eventually, he might get out, but not quite. They take him down, but mid one, no! Oh boy, time just slows down in front of mid one as JAPOY just jukes him out. Moon's gonna run. They'll keep on trying to go for the fight. It's not looking great for him though. Skem, he does at least go down, but now Tims, he'll reinitiate. JAPOY, he's just chipping away with the Sleight of Fist, and eventually they might find another. Mid one, trying to play with Tims, but it's not working out in his favor. He's gonna drop. JAPOY, he'll keep moving forward. Who do you want? He wants that Storm Spirit. He wants to find Moon, but instead he'll go after the supports, Fu and Roger. Well, at least Roger's gone. Fu, he'll keep trying to fight this one out, but it's not going to work. And it all comes back to that chrono miss, John. You've got to be careful around this Ember Spirit. JAPOY, he's known to juke you out.
That's such a massive win for Boom. SMG, we just talked about, them not really having the best lineup to play around a chrono, and when it whiffs like that, you just suddenly lose a lot of your control as well. That's probably their best bit of control outside of Home Moonsault and Charge, which is also not completely reliable in this match. And now Boom, they even out the kill board. They don't really have a massive lead, but that is buying a lot of space. Like, Tino just goes back to farming, Battle Fury's almost 2 parts away, and they're gonna go for a smoke play. No finger up on Scam, not too far off. JAPOY's damage is through the roof here.
They've got Tims, but he is in Sakuchi right now as the homing missile will follow him down, but he gets a swarm out to JAPOY. He'll jump right in. FBZ, he's got the Rolling Thunder. They've caught mid one again, but can they lock him down? Nice Earth Spike out. They're still trying. The Nether Strike is there. Raging, he's going to try and make sure that this mid one is safe, but FBZ, he just kept going. Mid one's going to drop again, and now Raging, he'll try to get himself out with the charge, but it's not going to be enough. Skem with a double kill on the Lion. Sweet, sweet revenge for Skem. And Boom Esports, every team fight, they are just getting away with murder.
Yeah, they're getting away with all the kills. They're getting away with every single power rune as well for JAPOY. They've had really great control around the rune wards and the runes as well. So SMG's been missing out on major top-ups for Moon. He does have the Orchid up, Mike. And in these engagements, SMG, they do have a counter for the Pangolier. You get the Soulbind off, you stop the roll. But we've seen it twice now, that fight in mid and the fight here, where if FBZ's just stuck in a spot, it actually cuts off your access points for your Spirit Break and makes it hard to engage.
Well, they've got him this time. FBZ, he's locked down, they'll take him out. Just so annoying to try and fight into this Pango. Even with your great team fight lineup, you just don't want to go into that Rolling Thunder. But now that FBZ's gone, they should be able to comfortably push down that bottom tier 1 tower. And it does seem like Boom Esports will set up for the same. But John, while this is happening, Tino's just disappeared off the map. He's almost got his Battle Fury up. And it's not the greatest timing in the world, but you mentioned this earlier. He's going to have a farming tool that is just going to be better than the Void. And that might be problematic for SMG.
Yeah, I think they've got to understand that on SMG's side, their ways of bursting down the PA is slightly limited. Maybe if you get the Ag Shard on Raging Potato for natural break, it's going to be a lot easier to burst down a PA. Before that 20-minute mark, it's going to be a bit tough, and your right click is just not going to match. You're going to need some ways of breaker. Maybe a Silver Edge could be one way. They do at least get the tower out. With the side of Boom, they still kind of have good control of that bot jungle. They've got wards watching the entrances. They can go hunting there if they want to.
Roger. Place some wards down, but immediately dewarded there by Skem. Mid lane, Jules out. They have got Raging. Chains are going to connect, and now FBC again with the Rolling Thunder. In the perfect position every time. Moon. No, he's not going to try and initiate after that. Tims, however, is going to split out Roger. Roger trying to go after that power rune. It's still going to go the way of JAPOY. And Tims takes himself a nice free kill on the Weaver. Just everything going according to plan here for the Radiant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad for SMG, all things considered here, Mike. It's not a massive lead for Boone. We're looking at 2K, 13 to 10. SMG still finding some trades, still finding some objectives. They're still finding time to build up on their Storm and faces Void. BKB timing for mid one's almost done. It's just going to be Mass with Manda's BKB with power treads, but if you can safely get off a good use of a chrono, have your Gyrocopter and Storm sit outside and provide DPS, and that could be one of the ways SMG takes his team fights going forward. So I think you're not completely shut out here in SMG. Boom, it's still relatively early for their power spikes. That Battle Free we talked about for Tino is up and running. So this is where the PA's farm does go into overdrive, but she's still very susceptible to ganks, and I think that's something SMG needs to get a handle on. Maybe plant some deep rewards, start to focus in on the triangle area, prevent Tino from just building up, because you're going to have a massive PA problem down the line that you will have to specifically itemize against that to kind of put it in control.
Oh, absolutely. You're not going to be at that point where mid one's going to have the damage quite yet either. I mean, you talked about the BKB coming up. You're kind of waiting for that item after the BKB to have the damage output on that Void. At the very least, though, Raging now has a Shadow Blade, and this is where things can get a little bit tough against the Spirit Breaker. But boom, they're going to smoke up. As 3, but so will SMG. So it's a smoke-on-smoke situation. They are headed right towards Tino, but Tino, he'll take the long way around the triangle and might just make it away. Boom, they are doing the exact same rotation, but nobody around the die triangle either. In fact, Tino, mid lane, he showed up for a second. He's going to get caught out. Can he survive long enough? Not quite. FBZ, he does use the Rolling Thunder, and they found Moon out. They've got the Storm, so at least get some form of a trade. It's not too bad. Arfu. Oh, he's actually going to cancel. He cancels his own TP, assuming they'd react fast enough. I'm not sure how much time he had on that TP, but well, in the end, Arfu also going to drop here for SMG.
And that looks a bit bad for Boom, but you have to consider Boom is still higher net worth than that Storm, so you do win out on a trade value. You even find Roger, so you find 3 heroes for 1. Surely you lose PA, but you manage to take Storm, and then you get 2 bonuses. That's all Boom really wants, and I don't think Tino's going to mind too much. They're going to take the mid-tier 1 off of that as well, Mike. So the map control opens up here for Boom. They're going to be able to invade that top jungle, maybe plant some more aggressive wards on the opposite triangle as well, and now they can start to pressure mid 1. Like, he does have the BKB up. His farming speed's still not amazing. We still haven't seen the follow-up running for that.
Oh, Raging. It's that classic Spirit Breaker problem, John. You just want to charge everyone you see, and well, unfortunately he charged right into the Ember. Yapash, he knew about it the whole time. Boom Esports just preparing very nicely to just take him out. 17 to 11, but more importantly, a 3k net worth advantage now to Boom Esports. The one saving grace is the fact that Moon is still top of the net worth board, but these last couple team fights, he's been doing alright, but that last one, that death, doesn't feel too good, and it seems like Moon, he won't get too involved until he has his own BKB up.
Yeah, he's gonna have to sit back, just keep building him back up on that Storm. Boom can kind of use this time to just take more map control, trade that tier 1 top, get control of the top jungle, buy out more space for Tino to play this farm game out. He's almost getting his own BKB as well, skipping out the Deso here. They do see Tims though, but they could commit for the charge, but it is a bit deep. They've got the double damage though. This looks to be what? Their first, maybe second power rune coming out from SMG in this entire game. It's gonna maybe give a chance for Moon to get some aggressive plays going if he wants to. That could be the opening they need here on the side of SMG, but I think overall, you don't really want to push the envelope. I think SMG's confident enough, Mike, and they're scaling towards late game. Because you've got Void, you know, there's no real counter to Chronosphere. I mean, technically, maybe Weaver Ags can kind of counteract that to an extent, but not fully. So I think SMG does know that if they play it slow, they're going to be able to scale. They're going to be able to handle Boom the wider engagements. They just have to ride out this point where two of their big heroes are really just farming up here.
Right, that's the point, right? Like, mid 1, he's going to buy this MKB, and once you've got that, then you definitely have the damage to at least deal with Tino. As they are smoked up now, Boom Esports running right towards Moon. Nice scan out, though. Is going to actually catch the side of Boom Esports in their tracks, and that'll give the information over. But SMG to be able to get themselves out of there, so both Moon and mid 1. They TP out. The invasion into that dire triangle is there from Boom, but nobody's going to be around. They've read the movement.
Just a missed opportunity coming out from Boom. Great map sense, game sense there from SMG to figure that out. And they just keep playing the stall game. I think the issue with playing the stall game, though, is that Boom is actually getting a little bit more farm off the map. They're being a little bit more efficient here, Mike. Their lead is growing. A while ago it was 3k, now it's grown by 1k to 4k. You know, Tino now is number 1 with the PA, so just by nature of these heroes farming, the PA is starting to win out. I think if you do manage to play that slower game, someone has to apply that pressure. Someone has to bully out that PA while she's weak, and I think that's got to be Raging Potato with his Shadow Blade right now, that they just don't really have the best angles after that failed attempt onto that triangle.
Group up mid lane. Moon, he's popped that double damage, and there was a smoke going, but they can't approach that triangle high ground. Just way too intimidating when your smoke does end up breaking on the low ground.
Radiant's middle
Instead, they'll
tower
just
is
secure another power rune. Just going to be a quick illusion there for Moon. It does feel like Boom are the ones that really want to fight. SMG, they're just trying to sneak their way in and get a few quick pickoffs. That double damage rune, it is going to wear off for Moon, so chances are they're going to sit back and buy mid one a bit more time to farm up. Again, I feel like once you have the MKB up, you're just not really afraid anymore as SMG. You know you have what it takes to take out Tino and the rest. I mean, mind you, you are still giving Tino a lot of time to finish off his own BKB. She should have it in just about 100 gold. Still, I mean, once the MKB's up, you don't really care either way.
Yep. You're going to be able to do damage in that Chrono. You're not going to fully rely on the Gyro, fully rely on your Storm outside to kind of get the hits in. So you can kind of just focus in, win up the matchup, and work numbers advantage your way on SMG's side. I think Boom, they're playing the right spot themselves. They're just playing top, planting some aggressive wards, getting some farms. Same thing goes for SMG playing bot. They've got their own ward behind the tier 2 area in the jungle. So both teams are kind of in a mirrored movement right here, where they're just farming safe, trying to get those item timings. The BKBs we talked about, Mike, they do come out. PA BKB up, Storm Spirit BKB up. So you have some tools now to fight. The question now is, who's going to be willing to leverage those BKBs first? Who's going to want to go for the spell immunity plays earlier on? I think both sides are a bit leery of losing that spell immunity as the game goes on. There's a lot of control from both sides that needed. Maybe Boom doesn't care as much because there's always going to be Chrono. So even if you have a 9-second charge, Chrono is still going to counteract you. They might be more willing to jump in with these early BKBs here.
Mid lane. They grouped up, they get a bit of chip damage onto that tier 1 mid tower, but SMG again very, very careful with their position. Even with those BKBs up, they just do not feel 100% safer against Boom. Power rune, oh, it's a double damage, but JAPOY can't get it this time. Boom's got him, but FBZ's in, Rolling Thunder's there, he'll pop the BKB out, they'll try to chase down the Ember, but can they take him down in time? He is still alive, Silence, no, not quite, they have the Yules there, Chrono committed though, they've locked him down mid one, he'll take care of it, onto Skem they go, they found another, but here comes Tino, he wants to go for the fight, but mid one, he's not interested, he wants to go back in after FBZ, with the Soulbind there, they locked them down, a great Earth Spike out though, Skem will lock him back down. In fact, now Tino, he jumps back in after mid one. They'll take down the Void. They'll take down Raging Potato. And they got JAPOY at the start of the fight, but in the end, it just didn't seem to matter.
No, they make big sacrifices. They use their big team fight spell to take out the Line and the Ember, leaving PA a lot of room to just jump in. She's at one of her strongest points now, Mike. Level 17, not quite maxed out coup de grace, but you've got the maxed out Blur, and we still don't have resources of Break. We still don't have the Pierce to deal with the evasion, so you can't play
Try. Well, it does connect. They're a bit early on. The Earth Spike does lock him down. If they lock him down long enough, Moon, he's going to try and fight. He's dropping low though, but the charge in, Raging. He may have saved the day. Roshan so down low. JAPOY will jump back in with the Inkswell out. Aegis has been taken. JAPOY, he's got it. Raging Potato now. He'll be locked out. FBZ, he's got the Rolling Thunder back up. Back into the Roshan pit they go. Onto Arthur. They'll get another. A triple kill out for JAPOY. And in the end, I mean, I don't even know if they got the Roshan kill, but what does it matter, John? They've got the Aegis.
Yeah, they got the kill and they got the Aegis and they got the gem by killing off Roger. So they get everything in that exchange. The side of SMG, a bit hasty. Like I did appreciate the initiative for Moon to try to go in to try to contest. It's such a massive risk. There just wasn't enough follow through and just not enough control outside of a charge and Nether Strike that they can't quite lock in these sneaky here. It's now JAPOY.
He's got a BKB up. He should be okay to escape, but he might have to commit it as now Skem is in. Earth Spike off the mark though, mid one. He'll try to man fight back. No Chrono available, but he might be able to get away with this Lion kill and get himself back out. He'll even go after JAPOY, but he does time it well. He'd have more than enough time to get that support and just get the hell out of there. Skem just trying to get the perfect timing on the Yule Scepter Earth Spike, but it's not that easy to land as now Moon mid lane. Gonna make the jump in after the Ember, but the Orchid is gonna be purged off. Yapash, he'll be just fine to TP back towards the base. And while that was happening, John, mid one, he does have the MKB up now. So happy days here for SMG.
Yeah, now the next issue for SMG, Mike, is if they want to use that Faceless Void damage, they're going to need to play around Chronosphere. Max level, still a 2-minute 20-second cooldown. So there's a lot of time for Boom to actually play against him. Once they see Chrono committed, they know it's a bit harder for the Faceless Void to just stand and fight. They know the control's going to be lacking, and that's when Boom can kind of look to jump in. I think SMG have to take the initiative while that spell is stopped. You have to just look for a target, jump in, commit it, and hope that the numbers advantage afterwards, once the Chrono's committed, is enough for them to kind of build up. You've still got the mobility on Moon, you've got the mobility on Raging Potato, you've got pretty decent damage coming through now from both of them as well. So you can kind of play against that. What I do worry about though, Mike, is that Boom have been sitting on this Ags on Tims for a while now. It's been finished up for maybe the past 2 minutes or so. So he's got the time lapse for allies, and that makes it a lot harder to burst them down. Like if you don't catch that Weaver in Chrono, if the position of the allied here is just right, you can still time-lapse and heal them up. So there's a lot of saves from Boom from preventing that play from happening from SMG. And I think for SMG, again, it's just down to control, down to initiation. How do you start these fights? Who do you jump first? Lots of pressure on mid one and possibly even Moon and kind of getting that angle.
Can be quite hard. I mean, they definitely need to catch Tims. I think we can both agree on that. They're going to move in. Yapaj on the low ground is going to be spotted, but he does not fear anything. He'll move right in onto Roger. Does juke out the homing missile and the charge out as he goes back in after that gyrocopter. But now Moon, who's he gone on? The backside. They want Skem on that Lion, and they should have him. But now FBZ, a great rolling thunder round. But there's that Chrono now. He's caught Tims on the Weaver. He'll go right back after Skem. But that Weaver, he's the important target. They'll try in after Yapaj again. Can they really get the Ember? It doesn't seem like it. They'll chase down Moon. There goes your Storm. Back in on Arfu. And the crit's coming out, Tino. He just rips him to shreds as Arfu's gone now. Raging, he'll try to charge out, but there is no running. He'll be the fifth to drop. It's a full team weapon, Moon. He's going to try and clean up himself. Oh, has he fed another life away? Moon, he's still low on mana, and Tino critting on demand is the Phantom Assassin. Oh, and Moon dies back immediately.
Oh man, this is not looking good now for SMG. It was so even. Like before that fight, I don't think it was too one-sided for Boom. Now with that kind of momentum, with finding that early dieback on the Storm, this gives you a lot of time on Moon to just
Oh,
run
Yapaj?
out. Oh my god.
How does he know?
Game
Roger
senses,
was
man.
there. Roger was there.
Game senses. You know, he's played how many hours of Dota at this high level? You know, he knows exactly what you're going to do, where you're going to try to play, where you're going to position yourself to maybe posture up. And for Boom, we saw the effects of those item pickups, Mike. Like the time lapse came out on Skem. He was about to die. He got saved. That forced Chrono up onto the two supports, and that forced Midone to kind of focus his damage on the Lion, which is great, but it stalled out so long that Tino came in. There was no follow-up control. If the Void doesn't have Chrono, he can't really man-fight against PA all too well because there's no one else that can follow up through you. And it just kind of falls apart. So SMG, again, they've got to find a way of making it work.
I don't know if they're going to find a way right now, John. Arthur and Roger both going to drop on the supports. Great teamwork there between Yapaj and FBZ to get it done. It's another classic Yapaj Ember performance here. 12-1 and 14 thus far. You know, you can kind of give some credit to Tino on the PA, but it does feel like Yapaj has really been carrying the team in this one. Him and FBZ, I'd say. Tino, he's just been doing his job as a POS one.
Yeah, I mean, they just enable Tino to have that build-up. You know, like in the end, Tino's the one doing the big hits. Sure, he doesn't get the most kills, but he's doing the most damage. We see the crits. They're massive with that Desolator up. It's just very hard to burst down. There's just not enough magical bursts on SMG to handle them. And now, Boom, gonna look for more.
Skem. They had the ward down. They knew. That'll be Raging gone for 60 seconds as mid one. He'll get a Chrono out. Tims, he's outside of it. They'll get the Yules off. Tims, time lapse. No, it's not going to be there. He waited out too long. And now Moon, he'll jump in. They'll try. But Tino, he's going to go for the man fight. Mid one, he'll time walk away in time as a soul bind. He'll hold them down. They do get themselves out. In fact, mid one, he'll keep going. BKB out. Arfu though, he gets trapped, and no. The Jukes are there from Japoy. Roger, he's the one who goes down. It's now Tino. They'll turn back around onto the void. Mid one, no, not like this. He's gone again as Moon. He is completely out of mana. He'll die back again, and Yapaj, he's not done yet. Onto Arfu they go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JAPOY show.
Oh man, what a show it is! Like, this is just insanity from JAPOY. SMG ripped apart. It came down to the laning. We talked about those timings between Ember and Storm. First 3 levels felt really good for Moon. Past that, JAPOY hits level 6 a bit faster. JAPOY hits Phase Boots and hits the Orb of Corrosion, whereas you go for Orchid, you have a Quarter Staff, that's great, it doesn't do enough. They will buy back and try to stall out here though.
They're going to try onto the PA. Tino, he's a great target to go after, but he's going to blink strike out. Raging will keep trying. In the meantime, there goes Roger. Fu's in trouble again. They forgot about Yopaj. He'll keep running forward, but he is out of mana now. This should be your chance to finally get rid of this Ember, or maybe knock us Tino. He's made the jump in. There goes mid one. Dimax are around. SMG, they've got no other options. They've got to call it. Boom Esports. It was just winding up for so long, John, and eventually it just exploded. And boom, they stuck to the game plan and they made it work.